Today, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be going over 8 fragrances that I think smell excellent. There's a couple of inexpensive ones on the list. There's a couple of more expensive ones, but nothing that's going to break the bank too much. I think these fragrances deserve to be spoken about or talked about, so to speak, and that is what I'm going to be doing today. If you're interested to see what fragrances I'm going to be talking about, stay tuned. What is good, YouTube? Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Mikey Cologne, and I want to thank everybody for tuning in today. If you're stopping by for the first time, or you do enjoy my content and you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, do so. It is completely free, and always press the bell because it will notify you when I drop a review at a later date. That is right. I have 8 solid fragrances to go through. A few of these are unisex, definitely. There's probably maybe 2 or 3 that are targeted towards the men, but a majority of these are unisex, definitely. And the first one that I'm going to start off with, some fellas might think it leans a little bit too much on the feminine side, but to me, I think it's straight down the middle unisex. It is coming from the house of Theo Cabanel, and I love this fragrance. This is Ooh La La. What a beaut this is. This has a hazelnut accord in it, but we'll get into it. The only thing, that is good. That is damn good. The only thing I don't enjoy about this is the atomizer. It sort of gives out a puff, but what you're going to do, I know it's all about the juice, and the juice, it makes up for it tenfold. You've got hazelnut, saffron, tobacco, iris, tonka bean, sandalwood, and white musk. Now, straight away, it opens up powdery. You get this nutty aroma from the fragrance, and it does have a nice dose of sweetness up top. The iris in Ooh La La, it goes through stages, and what I mean by that is that at first it's powdery with that hazelnut. Then as it starts to settle after a minute or two, you get a little bit of that lipsticky quality from the fragrance. Then it kind of gravitates towards the floral side of the iris, and it's got a little bit of an airy nature to it. But why it's going through them changes, it always maintains that powdery side in the fragrance. Now with this, it does have a woodsy undertone, but I wouldn't call this a wood or a woody heavy fragrance. You can notice it, it's present, but it's not too in your face. And as it settles down, you get that tonka bean that comes through, and to me it gives off an ever so slight marzipan aroma. So that mixing in with the hazelnut and the iris, it just creates this creamy, powdery, buttery, semi-sweet, I would even say a little bit sexy quality. The tobacco I do not get in this fragrance. I don't get no tobacco at all. It does have, or this fragrance does have, it has a creamy side, but it also has a little bit of a dryness to it. So maybe that's the tobacco, and it definitely does have musky edges. It's not an overly complex fragrance, but man, this thing is cozy. Like I say, I think it's a little bit sexy. This will go great on a date night, without a doubt. This is for cooler weather. I wouldn't rock this in the summer. It would become too much. The longevity is 6 to 7 hours. If you enjoy nutty fragrances, if you enjoy iris fragrances, if you enjoy fragrances with a little bit of that tonka bean sweetness, you're going to be all over this like a tramp on a sandwich. I'm telling you, it is that good. But anyway, that is Theo Cabanel, Ooh La La. Not only do I enjoy iris fragrances, if you've been following me for a while now, you know that I love the note of iris, or the accord, the aroma of iris. But not only do I love that, I love vetiver as well. Vetiver fragrances to me, they're masculine. They've got a level of sophistication to them. And this fragrance definitely has that. This is Hemingway from Mask Milano. This is a beautiful vetiver fragrances, but you have to enjoy vetiver in all its forms to appreciate this. If you just like fresh vetiver fragrances that are sort of a little bit soapy and mainstream, I don't think you will appreciate this, and I'll get into it. These are beautiful looking bottles there. And then you've got the name of the perfumer round. Let me show you. Right, you've got ginger oil, rhubarb, vetiver heart, vetiver oil, Haiti, vetiver oil, Java, cedarwood, patchouli, and leather. Now, this opens up zingy, spicy, fresh, a touch aromatic, and that rhubarb, it's not only does it back up the ginger on the spicy side of things, to me it adds a very light fruity quality in the fragrance up top. But this is not a fruity fragrance. Oh no. Immediately with all this, you get the vetiver. Now, the vetiver in this, in Hemingway, it goes through stages. It's obviously woodsy. It goes pungent. It goes smoky, earthy, rooty. It even comes across a little bit damp at times. So it's just how they've, it's not hard to explain, but how they've worked the fragrance is that it's woodsy, then this smoky quality comes in while staying woodsy, then you get this earthy quality whilst it's woodsy and smoky. So it goes through stages, or different facets come out from the vetiver as the fragrance dries down. That's what I'm getting at. The leather darkens up the base. Again, this sort of has a dusty, musky edge to it. The spice does calm down from the top. Once it starts heading into the mid, that spice, that takes a back seat. The rhubarb fizzles out, and that is when it's full swing vetiver. And then as it goes from mid to base, the leather comes through, darkens the base up a little bit. It does give off a leathery aroma as well, so you do get that. But the focal point of this fragrance is vetiver. So you, again, if you enjoy vetiver, you're going to love this. If you only like soapy, fresh vetivers or vetiver fragrances, you might want to sample this one first, but I love it. I love vetiver. This fragrance is bold. This means business. If you're, I'm not going to say a CEO of a company, I'm not going to say a CEO of a company, because not everybody is a CEO of a company. But if you're going to a board meeting, or if you're going to a dinner meeting, or even if you're going out for drinks and you're dressed up and you want to be noticed and you want to smell masculine, Hemingway, my friends, will do it for you. Longevity, 6 to 7 hours. Sometimes I've had 6 out of it. I've had days where I've only got about 5 to 5.5 hours out of it. It all does depend on how hot it is, how cold it is. But anyway, yeah, stunning fragrance, sophisticated, masculine. Up next, I have another one for the fellas. It is the new Hugo Boss, the scent Elixir. I think this is a great release. I really do. I think it opens up fruity and playful, but we'll get into it. 3 notes listed: red pepper, lavendine, and sandalwood. Oh, this is good. Now, it opens up sweet, spicy, fruity. You can tell that it belongs in the scent lineup. It's got that fruity Maninka vibe going on with it. Not listed, no, but it definitely has Maninka fruit in it, because even when I first tested this, I thought to myself, yeah, that definitely belongs in the scent lineup. As this fragrance starts to calm down and develop, the lavender comes through. Now, the lavender here is smooth. It brings a level of richness into the fragrance. And along with this, I get this ambery, vanillic tone that comes through with it. Now, this is when the fragrance to me starts maturing a little bit, because when it opens up fruity, sweet and spicy, it opens up a little bit fresh, and it opens up I would say slightly playful. But when that lavender comes through and then the amber and vanilla, the fragrance darkens a little bit, gets a little bit more mature, dries down a little bit more. Now you've got the creamy sandalwood going on. So now the fragrance is creamy, smooth, rich, a little bit aromatic, a touch fruity, soft, spicy, and obviously woodsy. And that is the fragrance in a nutshell. But I tell you what I do get from this in the dry down, when it's been sitting for about an hour or so, every now and again I get wafts of this dusty, powdery chocolate aroma. I don't know if this has cocoa in it or not, but I swear I can detect some type of chocolate from this fragrance. Again, it's not listed. Maybe it's my imagination. I think it's a solid fragrance. It's not overly complex, no, but it will get the job done very easy. It's mass appealing. It's likable. You can wear this on a date. You can wear this when you're going out having drinks with the lads. If you're going for a meal with your missus, you can wear this fragrance. It's more, to me, it's more of a smartier fragrance. Opens up a little bit playful, but it matures as it sits. And I like that about the fragrance. But anyway, that is the scent elixir. The next one I want to talk to you about is the only fragrance I own from this brand. And I do need to check out more from this brand, because if they're anything to go by, or if this is anything to go by, I have high hopes for the rest of their fragrances. This is If by RK from the house of Frappin. Now, look how beautiful that bottle looks. Look. I believe Frappin is a cognac house. Look at that. That looks stunning. Now, if you enjoy fig fragrances with sandalwood, and I know some people hear that and they think Gris Charnel. No, obviously there is little similarities, but there's definitely differences. You're going to appreciate this. This to me is sexy, cozy, semi-sweet, gorgeous fragrance, and the quality of the juice. Oh man, this is so good. Right, you got ginger, pepper, bergamot, fig milk, cinnamon, cashmere wood, sandalwood, patchouli, gaiac wood, and tonka bean. Now, it opens up fresh, bright, a little bit citrusy, and spicy and zingy. That bergamot does come through, but in a very light dose. With all this, you get that fig. Now, here the fig is what's pushing the sweetness in, or some of the sweetness in, but it also shows off its fruity side. So it's a little bit fruity, it's a touch citrusy, and I wouldn't say this comes across lactonic. I would say that the fragrance is overall creamy. Plus you've got the sandalwood here, you've got the tonka bean, so they all play a part in just creating this creamy quality in the fragrance. After a couple of minutes, a woodsy undertone comes through, and this is one of them. The longer it sits, the woodsier it goes on my skin. Obviously, I don't mind that because I like woodsy fragrances. But for some women, like, I think this is feminine leaning masculine because of that woodsy nature this fragrance has. But if a woman appreciates a woodsy fragrance, you're going to fall in love with this fragrance. As it dries, it warms up as well. The citrus dissipates. That bergamot only lingers for a few minutes. The spice does calm down, but as the fragrance dries down, it warms up. The cinnamon carries that spice through the fragrance, but it's always soft. After the opening, that's when it's at, the opening is when it's at its most spiciest. But as it dries, you've still got a nice touch of spice, but it's very soft. And the fragrance is warming up. The creamy quality gains some traction. The woodsier it gets. And then you get this very light, I would say, balsamic feel and aroma from the fragrance. This is a beautiful scent. This is a sexy fragrance. This is very smooth. This would be perfect for a date night. Or if you're in, say you're a couple, you're a married couple, your boyfriend, girlfriend, and you're having a cozy night in, so to speak, You're watching a film, you've ordered a takeaway, and you want something that's got a little bit of a sexy quality to it. This, my friends, has that. But anyway, that is If by RK from the House of Frapping. I love the way this bottle looks. Look, I think that looks on a shelf outstanding. Now I've got a couple of inexpensive fragrances for you. A little while ago, I used to use the word cheap, and someone got a bit arsey in the comments and said, "Can you not use the word cheap? Can you please use inexpensive?" So I've got a couple of inexpensive fragrances on this list, and this is one of them. This is coming from the house of Zara. It is a fashion house. They sell jewelry, clothes, bags, shoes. They also do inexpensive fragrances. And when I first got my nose on this, I was like, man, this thing smells good. And I think I paid £17.99, so £18 in the UK for 100ml. And yeah, I'm going to butcher the name, but I'm going to explain the fragrance right. This is Cafe et Cedra, and it is from the Woods collection, and it is W003. This is a stunner, my friends. This really is a great fragrance. I love the opening, and the opening stays like what you get. To me, this has a few notes in it, but I don't get all the notes, and it's quite a simplistic fragrance, but there's a little bit going on. Everything happens over a short time. You got black pepper, bergamot, coffee, orris root, frankincense, clary sage, amberwood, Palo Santo, Cashmeran, and tonka bean. Straight away, this opens a little bit powdery, citrusy, and fresh spicy. With this, I immediately get a woodsy undertone. Then the orris comes through. Now, when I say the orris, I mean the aroma of orris, because straight away it's powdery, which is the orris creating that effect. But then after a minute or two, then the aroma of the orris or iris comes through. And it is a little bit lipsticky, but I would say very lightly lipsticky, like that cosmetic bag style iris. But it's more so on my skin on the powdery side of things. Then you've got a little bit of an aromatic touch in the mid. As it settles down, it turns a little bit more woodsier. The frankincense here, to me, gives this a very light resinous quality, but the fragrance always stays fresh. Like, this never really heads into warm or dark territory on my skin or even to my nose. That bergamot does fizzle out, but the fragrance always has this sweetness to it. I do get slight earthy touches from this. This does have musky edges. The coffee, I mean, I get it and then it's gone, like literally, and I don't get it in the opening. After a couple of minutes, it's like it's there in the background faintly, and then a minute later it dissipates, and then that basically is the coffee note in this fragrance. And I don't even get it on everywhere. So if you're looking at this fragrance or you're looking at the notes and you're thinking this is going to be a coffee fragrance, no, it isn't. It's iris, it's woodsy, it's a touch aromatic. I would say lightly resinous, but bright, and it has a nice dose of sweetness to it. I think this fragrance is a solid release. If I was blindfolded, and I always say this on inexpensive fragrances that I think smell great, if I was blindfolded and I smelt this, I would no way think that this fragrance cost £18. There's no way of it. The longevity, I'm not even going to gripe about. It's about 5 hours because it's an inexpensive fragrance. Overspray it. Seriously, sometimes people complain about an inexpensive fragrance that doesn't perform. It's an inexpensive fragrance. Overspray it. Buy yourself a backup bottle of it. It's not like it's a £300 fragrance and you're putting 8 sprays on and it's only lasting 4 to 5 hours. No, it's not even £20. You're going to get 5 hours out of it. This would be great at the office day-to-day running chores. I even think that you could reach for this on a date if you're going out for drinks. It's quite a versatile fragrance. To me, it's an all year round scent. I wouldn't wear it on super hot days, but apart from that, any time of year you can wear Caffè, etc. I know someone's going to correct me on that. But anyway, solid fragrance. Deserves to be on this list. Deserves to have some highlight, definitely. Yeah. Up next, we have another inexpensive fragrance, and this is coming from the house of Lattafa. This is a Jayab Dubai portrait. Now, this is, I would say, a simple fragrance. It's not complex. What you get at the beginning, it kind of carries all the way through. There is a few changes, and we will get into it. Straight out of the gate, I'm going to tell you that I think this is genuinely more of a feminine fragrance, but a fella can pull this off. I've been wearing this and no one has said to me that is too feminine for you. I've had one compliment on it and someone said to me who I know, they said, man, you smell fruity today. That smells good. What are you wearing? And I told them and they was like, that smells really good. And it's £25. Now, you've got orange, lemon, jasmine, mango, osmanthus, amber, sandalwood, musk and oud. Straight away it opens up fruity, it opens up bright, it opens up sweet, it does open up musky on my skin. In the air not so much, but as soon as this hits my skin it's musky straight away. Now the first thing you will notice is the mango, then I notice the orange, then the lemon comes third place. After a couple of minutes then the osmanthus comes in, which comes across as peachy. So you get this peachy aroma mixing in with the mango. Then a woodsy undertone comes through, and I mean the very lightest of a woodsy undertone, or the lightest a woodsy undertone can be. This fragrance has it. And it has that generic white floral aroma in it. So it's got floral edges, it's peachy, it's mango, it's creamy. Now, the amber and the oud, I do not get in this fragrance. I do not get anything that smells balsamic or ambery. I don't get anything that smells of oud in this fragrance. What I think they do in this fragrance is they add a rich quality to it and they do darken the base up a little bit because at first it's fresh, bright and juicy and fruity. But as this does dry down, especially from mid to dry down, the fragrance just darkens up a little bit and it sits heavy on the skin. To me, the amber and the oud, they're doing that. So this is not balsamic. This is not oudy. Very lightly woodsy. That's as far as it goes on my skin anyway. But it definitely leans more on the feminine side because of that white floral edge or edges that this fragrance has. Plus the peach and the mango. Some fellas would think a peachy fragrance would be more suited on a woman. And I tend to agree, but also disagree because I believe in wear what you want when you want. And if you enjoy a peachy mango fragrance and you're a fella, rock it. I've worn this and nobody has turned around and said to me, you smell like a woman. So there you go. Longevity is 7 hours, so it's moderate. Projection, it opens up loud. It really does. For the first 45 minutes I'd say for the first hour to hour and 20, it pushes really well. It sits heavy and thick on the skin. It's a little bit dense. I wouldn't wear this on a super hot day. I think that fruity sweetness that this fragrance has, I think it would become too much, especially if you're hot and the fragrance is, and you're sticky and a little bit clammy and the fragrance is just pushing and pushing. I think it would be too much, especially in the opening. So cooler days, early summer, this would be a solid spring fragrance. But anyway, yeah, that is a Jayab Dubai portrait from the House of Lattafa. £25 for 100ml. That is a bargain if you ask me, and the quality is good. Like, this doesn't come across as smelling, yeah, it's synthetic, but they've managed to create it where it doesn't come across like a synthetic bomb. But anyway, solid fragrance, deserves some attention. Up next, we have a fragrance coming from the house of Aaron Terence Hughes. And this is from his personal collection. So this is an EDP concentration of the parfum. It's a 30ml bottle, and this is so easy to wear. This is mass appealing. This is unisex. This is fresh out the shower. This is lounging around the house. This is running chores. This fragrance, you can wear it anywhere. It is Aura. Definitely unisex. I love the way this smells. I reckon I've got about, oh, that is good. I reckon I must have about 4 or 5 mil. I use this fragrance so much. And the good thing about these and his 10mls is that you can carry them around with you. So if you're a woman and you have your purse or your bag, and if you're a fella, you can fit that in your pocket. Or if you do carry a man bag around with you, you can carry this with you. You've got bergamot, lily of the valley, amber, ambret seed, sandalwood, white musk, and ambergris. Now it opens up very fresh, bright, citrusy. The bergamot has a little bit of bite to it, but that bite that the bergamot has, that only stays for a minute or two, and then that fizzles out. The lily of the valley here, what it does is it adds a soft floral touch to the fragrance, but it also adds in a little bit of sweetness. So it makes that bergamot come across as it's like a sweet bergamot, if that makes sense. Now, as it settles in, the musk comes through, and the musk here is very clean. And he's kept it that way so the fragrance stays fresh and clean all the way through. The ambret seed here, to me, adds a little bit of a fruity quality into the fragrance. The ambergris adds a fresh marine quality coming through from the base. So it's fresh all the way through. It stays bright. It stays clean. It goes musky. It's a solid fragrance, and you haven't got to overthink this. Literally, you can wear this anywhere. If it's a hot day and you're a little bit sticky, say you've had a shower to freshen up and you put this on, it'll be great. If you're running chores, it'll be great. Anywhere, you can wear it to the gym. It doesn't matter. You can wear Aura wherever, whenever. It's that type of fragrance, and it's very likable. But anyway, that is Aura from the house of Aaron Terence Hughes. Solid fragrance, 5 to 6 hours longevity. So it's just below moderate, but again, overspray. And I'm finishing off this review with one of my most favourite releases of 2023. As soon as I smelt this fragrance, it was love at first sniff, and in time, there is no doubt I will get the bigger bottle. This is AMORE Caffè from Mancera. This is a stunning fragrance. This is completely unisex. It's a little bit boozy. We're going to get into it. And the atomizers on these Mancera bottles, they're great. The old atomizers with the screw caps. Oh, that's good, man. Every time I smell this, I'm like, man, this stuff is the shiz. It really is. The old screw cap bottles of Mancera, the atomizers were whack. They weren't all that good. But the newer bottles, they're pressurized atomizers, and you can control the juice that comes out or the perfume that comes out. Right, you got black coffee, amaretto liqueur, vanilla ice cream, speculoos, which is a biscuit. I didn't know that at first. Someone actually commented down and said that speculoos is a biscuit. Vanilla pods, brown sugar, and grey amber. Now, straight away, it opens up warm, it opens up sweet, it opens up boozy, it opens up creamy, nutty. That coffee aroma really does come across as like a creamy latte with a little bit of a nutty facet to it. Then you've got the boozy quality, so it's very sweet in the opening. And then you also get the vanilla. As it starts to settle in, the boozy quality does calm down. The coffee slowly fades out, like it slowly fizzles out the longer the fragrance sits. The vanilla amps up. The speculoos here gives off a cinnamony vibe. That is what I get from this fragrance, like the smell of cinnamon with a soft bit of spice. Then the fragrance warms up more and more the longer it sits. You get the smell of like this burnt caramel accord, but without the smoke. This is a stunning scent. This is gourmand. This is sexy. This is flirty. This would make a perfect date night fragrance on a cooler evening. It's attractive. It really is. It's alluring. If you wear this and you're going to meet someone, or you're going to be meeting someone for a date for the first time, and they catch a whiff of this, I guarantee you they're going to say you smell good. To me, it is that good. It really is. And for me to say that I'm going to get a backup bottle and a bigger size, I love the stuff. I always want to have AMORE Caffè in my collection. It would be hard if someone turned around and said, which 20 fragrances would you keep? I know for a fact this would be one of them. But I do love so many of my fragrances. So it's not just, fragrances isn't a hobby for me. It's a passion. I love the way fragrances are made. I love the way fragrances come across, the way they smell. They're good as well, because some people associate fragrances with memories. But anyway, that's AMORE Caffè from the House of Mancera. If you haven't tried this out yet, get yourself a sample. Just order, find a website somewhere. 1 ml samples are £4 or £5. I don't know how much samples cost over in America, but in England, I think you've got Fragrance Samples UK. What else? Oh, I can't remember off the top of my head. There is a few other places where you can get samples from, obviously, but I just can't remember them. Right, ladies and gentlemen, that is 8 fragrances that I think smell very nice, great even. There's not one here that I think to myself, yeah, that's okay. Otherwise, it wouldn't be in the list. I always say that. I only review fragrances that I think that you lot should check out. Let me know which ones you have tried out of these fragrances. Which ones do you own out of these fragrances? Do you like Aura from Aaron Terence Hughes? Have you tried AMORE Caffè? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Remember, smelling good's always a pleasure and never a chore. Thank you for the support. You all mean the world to me. And I'll see you lot on the next one. Cheers.